Do you remember what it was like? Asia, just a few years ago. It was a symphony of life. A wonderful, chaotic, beautiful noise. I remember walking through markets, the air thick with the scent of spices and sizzling street food. The sounds were everywhere. Tuk-tuks whizzing past in a cheerful buzz. The chatter of 100 different languages all mingling together. Now, imagine a different scene. Imagine those same places today. A great hush has fallen. You can hear your own footsteps echoing on the pavement, which is rather strange. The market stalls, once overflowing with colorful silks and handmade crafts, are now shuttered. Many are covered in a thin layer of dust. The symphony of voices has faded into a quiet whisper. It feels as if someone has pressed a pause button on the entire continent. This is the new reality for some of Asia's most beloved treasures. A stillness that is both peaceful and deeply unsettling. The change is simply breathtaking and not in a good way. Think of the great temples of Angkor Wat. They used to be a sea of people at sunrise, everyone jostling for the perfect photograph. Now, you might find only a handful of visitors wandering through the ancient stones in near solitude. So, what happened? Why did this vibrant tapestry suddenly unravel? The main reason, of course, was a tiny thing we couldn't even see. The COVID-19 pandemic swept across the globe like a phantom. It was a health crisis that changed everything. Suddenly, travel itself became a risk. People were afraid to leave their homes. The world went into hiding. The flow of tourists stopped overnight. It was a global shutdown on a scale we'd never seen. Governments took drastic measures. Borders slammed shut. Countries closed themselves off to the outside world. Flights were canceled. Strict travel restrictions were enforced. Let's take a trip to Bangkok, a city I adore. I remember it as a place of glorious madness. The Grand Palace would be shimmering with gold, and also with the flashes of thousands of cameras. The river would be choked with long-tail boats, weaving in and out with incredible skill. Khao San Road was a famous river of humanity, a place where travelers from every corner of the earth came together. You could barely move for the crowds, the music, and the incredible energy. It was a city that never, ever slept. But the Bangkok of the last few years has been a different creature entirely. It has been a ghost of its former self. Even the infamous traffic jams seem to disappear. Now, let's fly over to beautiful Bali, the island of the gods. It was a paradise that drew millions. The beaches of Kuta. The beaches of Seminyak were a patchwork of colorful umbrellas and surfboards. The rice terraces of Ubud were dotted with tourists taking photos of the stunning green steppes. Yoga retreats were full, and the air hummed with a spiritual, yet busy, energy. Life in Bali was intertwined with the rhythm of tourism. Then, the silence came to Bali too. The beaches became vast, empty stretches of sand. The only sound was the surf. Hotels closed their doors, their swimming pools turning green. In Ubud, the winding streets, once filled with shoppers and happy wanderers, became deserted. Think of Beijing, the grand heart of China. I remember being in the Forbidden City, a place of immense history and scale. It was always a river of people, flowing through ancient courtyards and magnificent halls. You had to move with the crowd, carried along by the sheer number of visitors. The Great Wall was another incredible sight, but China chose a different path during the pandemic. It enacted some of the strictest rules in the world. For a very long time, the country was almost completely sealed off. And what about Tokyo, a city that feels like it's from the future? I was there just before the world changed for the Rugby World Cup. The energy was electric. The streets of Shibuya, with that famous crossing, were a mesmerizing flood of people. Then, the Olympics happened in a way no one expected, without spectators. It was a strange and subdued affair. The impact on the local people has been simply immense. Imagine you are a boatman in a place like Halong Bay in Vietnam. For your entire life, your family has ferried tourists among the beautiful limestone karsts. It's how you feed your children. Then one day, the boats stop coming. Your own boat sits tied to the dock, gathering dust. This story was repeated millions of times across Asia. They all lost their livelihoods almost overnight. Their world was turned upside down. As we stand here in late 2025, the picture is slowly, cautiously changing. Most borders are now open again. The strict rules are largely gone. People are starting to feel that old travel bug biting once more. Flights are filling up, and you can see the first green shoots of recovery. Tourists are beginning to return to the beaches of Thailand and the temples of Cambodia. There is a palpable sense of relief in the air. The silence is finally being broken by the happy chatter of different languages once again, which is a lovely sound. But the recovery will likely be a gentle affair, not a sudden flood. Tourism may look different. Perhaps travelers will seek out less crowded places. Maybe there will be a greater focus on sustainable and responsible travel, which would be a wonderful outcome. The road back to the bustling, vibrant Asia of before will be long, yet I am full of hope. The spirit of Asia is resilient, and its hospitality is legendary. The temples are still standing, the beaches are still beautiful, and the smiles of the people are waiting. A new chapter for tourism in Asia is just beginning, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how it unfolds.